earliest versions of the Bible ever discovered, as well as a controversial text called the Book of Enoch, which tells the tale of a group of otherworldly influencers known as the Watchers.
The Watchers are a group of these 200 angels. The Book of Enoch says they came from God's throne. They're the highest order of angels who were sent to earth to give humanity knowledge.
The Watchers are a group of angels who are dispatched to watch humans and to help humans. Now, the Watchers are very interesting because they are angels who interact with humans.
The Book of Enoch is a first-hand account of the biblical patriarch's encounter with the Watchers.
Enoch was taken into the heavens aboard a fiery chariot where he is given powerful universal knowledge by angelic beings. They taught advanced knowledge of metalworking, of astronomy, but the most amazing thing is that the Watchers taught Enoch the secrets of heaven.
When Enoch returned to Earth, he shared this knowledge with his fellow humans. And as far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, the account of Enoch and the Watchers is a compelling example of an otherworldly influence on human development.
The Book of Enoch is very clear that the Watchers are celestial beings. We call them extraterrestrials. There's no question they didn't come from this planet. However they got here, the stories are clear that they were here to assist humanity in scaling the evolutionary ladder.
Our next alien influencers are celestial beings who number not in the hundreds, but in the thousands. And they're believed to visit Japan to this very day. At number 9, the Kami.
Ise, Japan. In the center of this remote coastal city is a massive complex of 125 individual Shinto shrines. They are dedicated to the worship of otherworldly beings known as the Kami.
The Kami are these celestial beings that are able to inhabit basically anything, from a human being to an animal and even inanimate objects. So on the one hand, they're these multidimensional beings, but then they also describe them as having come down from their celestial palace in the sky, which is called Takamagahara.
There are over 8 million kamis according to the Shinto tradition, and each one of them respond to certain offerings that they like in particular. They also will respond more negatively if they are disregarded or forgotten. So all of them have distinct individualities and certain likes and dislikes as well.
According to ancient astronaut theorists, the Kami are not only otherworldly beings, but have had a major influence on Japanese civilization, evidence of which can be found at the Ise Grand Shrine, which according to Japanese tradition is the home of the Supreme Kami, the goddess Amaterasu.
Amaterasu is the principal goddess and principal god of Shinto. All emperors in the history of Japan have claimed descent from Amaterasu as well. All of them trace their lineage back to the Kami, all the way down to Emperor Jimmu, the first emperor to unify Japan.
According to Japan's oldest text, the Kojiki, Emperor Jimmu united the islands of Japan in the 6th century BC. It is written that his victory was ensured not only by Amaterasu, but also by a Kami that took the form of a large, three-legged crow.
This so-called crow guided him on his journey and advised him in military matters to ensure his success. And when you look at ancient depictions of this crow, it is often depicted inside some kind of an orb, this circular disc. So if you look at that, you have to ask, what exactly were the ancient Japanese talking about here? Because this to me, this sounds more like he was being guided by some kind of a flying craft that actual crow.
Could Japan's first emperor, Jino, and the imperial family today be direct descendants of extraterrestrial beings known as the Kami? And might the three-legged crow really have been an alien craft? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes. And as far as followers of Shinto are concerned, the Kami still influence earthly events to this very day.
Many Japanese actually have Shinto shrines in their homes. So there's daily interaction with the Kami, and they will do daily prayers or daily rituals devoted to the Kami, and this benefits them directly through long life and health and prosperity.
The Japanese archipelago is dotted with over 81,000 shrines that are devoted to the Kami gods. The Japanese people will visit the shrines of the Kami with the belief that they are actually praying to an extraterrestrial being who can fulfill their blessings.
On the opposite side of the world, in the American Southwest, you will find similar legends of mysterious teachers who descended from the heavens. The native Hopi people depict them as strange, humanoid figures with various animal features. Number 8 on our countdown of alien influencers, the Kachinas.
Black Mesa, northeastern Arizona. The Native American Hopi tribe has considered these peaks sacred for more than 1,000 years. According to their mythology, this is where they were visited by sky beings known as the Kachina.
The Kachinas in Hopi tradition are related to the star people. All Native American tribes have these traditional oral histories that people came from the stars to visit them. It's universal all across the United States that these gods, as we call them today, came to Earth and visited to provide knowledge.
The translation for the word Kachina is very simple. It means teacher. The Hopi refer to the Kachinas arriving in these flying fields, orange glowing fields as they're sometimes referred to. They would touch down on Earth, spend time with human beings, teach them, give them knowledge, and then they would use the same quote-unquote fields to fly back into the sky. And that's interesting that the Hopi are very clear in relaying that the Kachinas were not part of the ethereal realm, that they happen to be part of our physical world.
According to Hopi mythology, the Kachina arrived to share knowledge about agriculture, astronomy, and medicine. To this day, the Hopi celebrate the influence of the Kachina with rituals to connect them with the sky beings. Central to these are sacred objects that are believed to be a likeness of the Kachina.
The Kachina is a representation of the actual gods that used to come into the villages eons ago. Some of them are warriors. Most of them are priesthood type Kachinas, and they come from different parts of the universe.
The Hopi are very clear in suggesting that the Kachinas were celestial beings that imparted knowledge. And if you compare that to the ancient astronaut theory, that's exactly what it talks about, that the knowledge was imparted by beings who visited us. Not every alien influencer on our list descended from the heavens. Sometimes they emerge from the sea, like a group of mysterious beings who taught the ancient Greeks metallurgy and were described as humanoid entities with fish-like features. At number 7 on our countdown of the top 10 alien influencers, the Telkines.
The Aegean Sea. On the eastern edge of the Greek archipelago lies the picturesque island of Rhodes. Today, it is home to more than 115,000 people. But according to Greek mythology, it was once inhabited by a mysterious group of advanced beings known as the Telkines.
The Telchians are an interesting aspect of this early Greek mythology. They are in some cases described as having dog heads and fish web hands.
The Telkines were known for that reason as fish people. They had their special semi-divine powers, technologically advanced beings who are greater than humans. They were bigger, they're stronger, they're smarter.
It's very interesting that the Greeks were very, very clear in describing what they looked like. The Telkines are amphibious. During the day, they would walk on land, but at night, they would go into the water and then re-emerge the following day.
According to legend, the Telkines were highly skilled metallurgists. They were said to have created Poseidon's magical trident and to have cast the first bronze statues of the gods of Olympus.
The Telkines were known for their ability in metal smithing, in various magical or highly technological developments, and they came up with new stuff all the time. So they were represented as a somewhat advanced race, if you will.
According to mythology, the Telkines shared the secrets of their advanced smithcraft with the ancient Greeks.
The Telkines are the ones who taught the local population about metallurgy, how to make swords, and how to forge them in fire, and things like that. You have to remember that at some point, these things were not invented. So all of a sudden, these new things are there, and when you look at the ancient accounts, how or why our ancestors came up with this, our ancestors are telling us. And then we were taught by, in this case, the Telkines, how to make iron, how to make metal. The reason why this ties into the ancient astronaut theory is because the entire Greek pantheon of gods is based on an extraterrestrial idea. That the ancient gods of Greece were visiting extraterrestrials.
While the idea that the Greeks could have been influenced by amphibious metalsmiths may sound like science fiction, there is historical evidence that a group called the Telkines truly did exist.
We do actually have evidence of these beings. They were actual ancient Greeks who had specific tasks and trades, like metallurgy, like smithing, and so on. And so Telkines could in fact not just be these mythological beings, but actual people.
If that is the case, then that opens up the question of whether or not extraterrestrials lived in the sea. This is a common theme that we find around the world of great civilizer gods that emerge from the sea, and from time to time they come to the surface as influencers of humankind or as instruments of advancement for humanity.
Curiously, in West Africa, there are also accounts of mysterious teachers who had a fish-like appearance. And according to the Dogon tribe, these alien influencers didn't come out of the sea, but traveled to Earth from an invisible star. At number 6 in our countdown, the Nomad.
Mali, Africa, 1931. French anthropologist Marcel Briand treks through the Forbidden Desert in search of the mysterious Dogon tribe. When he finds them, he becomes fascinated by their culture and traditions, including the tale of mysterious teachers called the Nomo. According to Dogon mythology, the Nomo came from the sky, had a fish-like appearance, and aided in the development of humankind.
They describe these nomos as being very like mermaid or merman-like, but bequeathing lots of knowledge of astronomy, math, and science to this ancient race.
The Dogon actually said, well, this was our creator god, Namo, who descended from the sky in a loud whirlwind of a storm of thunder, smoke, and lightning. And their knowledge of everything was given to them by that being.
and medicine, but shared advanced astronomical information.
The Dothraki said that the Nommo were coming from the star system of Sirius, but they said that their star was a different, smaller star in Sirius, and that the Nommo planet went around this secondary star. Well, the French anthropologists were amazed at that and were confused as well, because that companion star to Sirius had not really been officially discovered at that time. How is it possible that they have this knowledge unless that knowledge was given to them by beings who came from that star system? But you have to ask, did the Nommo come from the stars? Were they extraterrestrial beings that came to Earth as great teachers, as influencers of human culture? One place on Earth that is truly fascinating to ancient national theorists is the country of Australia. Because for thousands of years, the Aboriginal people have been passing down stories of their celestial ancestors. And one of the most compelling tales involves a mysterious teacher who descended from the heavens in a flying canoe. Number 5 on our countdown of the top 10 alien influencers, a visitor known as Bayame. Australia. The Aboriginal people have lived here for more than 60,000 years, making them the most ancient continuous culture in the world. For tens of thousands of years, they have preserved the sacred knowledge of their earliest ancestors, passed down through art and detailed oral histories. And there is one figure who is said to have had a greater influence on Aboriginal traditions than any other, a mysterious teacher named Bayame.
Bayame is our God creator who came from the morning star. And Bayame arrived here to Mother Earth a long time ago. He said our ways of life that are passed down from generation after generation have been given to us by Bayame.
Bayame is a deity that helped the local population, gave knowledge, and showed people in various scientific disciplines. Essentially, it was a teacher.
In 2016, ancient astronaut theorist Giorgio Tsoukalos traveled to the Brisbane Water National Park in Australia. There, he met with Aboriginal elder Kevin Gotti Duncan and was eager to learn more about Bayame and the story of his otherworldly origins.
So what are we looking at here?
So this image is an actual image of Bayame. That's what our people believe.
Okay.
This site is considered around 8 to 10,000 years old. Bayame came from a place that we call the Northern Star, Mirrabooka. Mirror means stars, Booka means river. It is the Milky Way that flows across the night sky.
Okay. And so he is one of those sky heroes that has descended from the Milky Way.
Yes, he's a sky hero. And this is the canoe. This was his vessel that he sailed through the Milky Way. When he landed, they said the fire came from his feet and it burnt the top of the mountain and all around it every time he landed. People interpret that as a spaceship of some kind, as coming and going. This is the way we simply interpret Bayame's spaceship.
Right, but it's because the vocabulary didn't exist at the time.
Yes.
According to the oral traditions, when Bayame arrived, he created the earth for humans and then showed them how to survive. Teachings that continue to influence Aboriginal society.
We believe as Aboriginal people that Bayame walked across the earth and basically the land was prepared for us before life was started here. And we say Bayame teach us how we should equally have this balance of life between us as human beings and the earth.
The Aboriginals have all kinds of ancient stories of sky gods who manipulated the continent,
created the rivers and mountains, and then they left. These are probably some of the oldest stories of extraterrestrial intervention that we have on planet Earth.
Our people had much ancient knowledge of the star system and the constellation of the stars, the wisdom and knowledge that have been given to us by Bayami.
It's said that Bayami taught the ancient Aboriginal people astronomy, medicine, and various skills to survive off the land, including how to make Australia's most iconic hunting tool.
Bayami had given us the spirit of technology. We invented the boomerang, which is aerodynamics. It's something that's, influenced the technology of today, like aeroplanes and helicopters and other things. And we say that knowledge of how to create these things was given by Bayami.
Was Bayami an otherworldly visitor who bequeathed knowledge that continues to influence Aboriginal people to this day. For elders like Gary Simon Jagamara, and many who share the traditional beliefs of their ancestors, the answer is a resounding yes.
We all have stories of people in crafts coming from the stars, going to the stars, and so on. In order to keep them, pass them down to next generation, we carved them, we painted them, we sang them, we danced them in stories to guarantee that they passed down. So when the visitors left, we didn't forget about them, and we never forget about the things that they passed down to us and the knowledge they passed down.
Without a doubt, one of my favorite places to investigate is Egypt. Its mythology is a treasure trove of evidence for the ancient astronaut theory, including accounts of UFOs, advanced technology, and the story of a mysterious man who received his knowledge from the stars. Number 4 on our list of the top 10 alien influencers, Imhotep.
Saqqara, Egypt. Located just 15 miles south of the Giza Plateau, stands what mainstream archaeologists suggest is the oldest pyramid in Egypt. The Step Pyramid of King Djoser. Constructed in the 27th century BC, this monument was designed by a mysterious figure named Imhotep.
Imhotep was a commoner, became the high engineer, the main architect, and he came out of nowhere. We don't know his history. We know that he came into power, ascended the ranks, and became the closest man to the king. And he came up with the idea of a pyramid.
It was a step pyramid, and if you look at it, it's sometimes described as stairway to the gods, these enormous steps up into the sky. That was the first time a stone ceiling was suspended. It is an amazing breakthrough, a pioneering architectural moment, and the beginning of the making of pyramids in Egypt.
Imhotep designed the Djoser Pyramid to be the most impressive monument in Egypt. The 6-tier, 4-sided structure originally stood 205 feet tall, with a base measuring 358 feet by 397 feet. It was an engineering achievement so extraordinary that it enshrined Imhotep in the annals of Egyptian history. Remarkably, the iconic structure was not Imhotep's sole accomplishment.
Imhotep was a high priest. He also was a high physician. And the most ancient medical document ever found in the world was a papyrus written by Imhotep that explains how to treat trauma.
But of greater interest to ancient astronaut theorists is what influenced Imhotep's incredible accomplishments.
You go look back at Imhotep and how
可以放这边吗？有没有喂了？那礼拜天。